Good morning to day 6 of the fourth age championships. Nat Wickham in the chair and Dave Lambert joining me in a couple of minutes, just having a quick break. We have Colombia against USA. Colombia fourth on the ladder on day 6 and United States are 7th on the ladder. We have 10 seconds before kickoff and the game before this was an absolute humdinger. Australia against South Africa, and Australia won 4-3. Apparently it was a very tight game. South Africa got a couple of runaways, but the Aussie boys super happy and ready for their game against the States, I think, this afternoon. Okay, we have on the, let's see, who is black today? Day 6, court 2. What have we got? Colombia are white and USA black, so we're off. USA going left to right in the dark blue bathers. Colombia in the yellow going right to left. Nice close strike. Look, all of these games in the last 2 days, as everyone's trying to scramble for a good place in the final seedings, have been super tight. So I'm expecting something like that in this game today. Nice good clearance, Colombia, but there's been an infringement called just a little bit back in play. See you later, Declan. Hey, David. Glad you can join us in the chair. How did our glory mornings go this morning?
Well,
glory moments, I should say.
Well, I didn't get the opportunity to join the boys on the couch. Stuart and Nick did it this morning, and we're running around here. We had a couple of small technical issues, and I was just making sure the desk was all ready and rip-roaring ready for yourself to come join us.
Hey, so technical issues, nothing too major, were there?
Oh, no,
there,
it's just that. No. As you can see, there were some issues with the, at the end of the day, there were some issues with the quality of the water, and the teams in the aquatic center, very, very, very supportive here at the Dune Aquatic Center, part of the Hobart City Council. And they were working extra overtime in that, and got the pool back up to spick and span. As you can see, it's beautifully clear.
It is really clear. It's probably the clearest in the last couple of days, and that's saying something. Like you said, yesterday there were 14 games, so that's 14 time slots, 28 games. That's 56 teams going through the water. Repeated, obviously. That's a lot of. That's 560 bodies.
That's 500 players all sharing the same pool space.
Oh, don't think about it too much, folks.
No, you can't. But when they were cleaning it, they knocked a few of the cameras about, and the boys were in there trying to sort them out this morning.
Of course.
Not that damaged, just out of position. So Sean was in here very early this morning sorting those out, and then had to get the game going, started, and of course we look like it looks like the U.S.
States,
here put a first goal in against Columbia. Is that? And we got waving
that's right.
from one.
We got one conferring, two conferring, and let's have a look at their fingers, guys, because we see what you see, and we're relying on the refs to signal who scored. Now, your footage is actually 30 seconds behind, I think, David. Is that right? What they're seeing?
I have no idea.
There you go.
I thought it was live, but it delayed, of course. But
I think our commentary must be going in sync with that. But we see it. Yeah, what we're seeing.
Yeah. And again, the game is well underway. We've got 12 minutes left to go. That's only 3 minutes in, and U.S. has drawn
quickly.
First blood. Across the border match. Happening here from North and South America, going in this, and the American team have done what I would traditionally say is an Australian thing, that built over the competition. They've gotten stronger and stronger as I watched a few of their games, and they are certainly getting a lot stronger. Where as I probably don't get as much opportunities to play together as the Colombian players do, and so have a lot of work to do at a tournament to tighten up their play. And not surprisingly, they have done that. And Colombia have to lift their game. Early in this, they look a bit flat-footed, Nat.
Yeah, I'd agree. Flat-finned even, David.
Okay, that's a better idea.
But you're right. Colombia do always start strong and continue at that pace through the competition. And exactly right with that building the United States boys. There's quite a few teams who don't get to play together quite as much, and they're always the scary ones, because the first game you play them, it's going to be different the second time round, because they managed to gel together, get used to ech other, and that can sometimes be a little bit unpredictable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think today the under 19 boys have a early morning slot, and then they have a mid afternoon slot, sounding about for our time, local time, making sure that they got to early morning, get a good breakfast in, rehydrate throughout this tournament, and then today, and then come back it up in the afternoon. And they only playing a single round lumps, and it looks like, yes, the Colombians may have drawn even blood here. We got two signals referee.
Yeah, looks
Everyone's
like number
going
10.
yes, and
Number
what have we got,
10,
number 10?
Pablo David. Good
Pablo.
time. Yeah, good time to go through the team list, David. Who have we got in the United States under 19 boys?
Well, we got number 1, Zaka. I'm not 100% sure what Outram. Number 2, Eric Mao. Number 3, Ryan Situ. 4, Quantum Zoho. Number 5, Raymond Da. 6, Benjamin Zigar. Number 7 is Calvin Chan, Justin Lee. Number 8, wearing number 9, Deacon Cabrera. Number 10, Ben Leo. And coached by Halan Jha.
Yeah, and someone's called a timeout. 1-1. It would have been both coaches would have been looking to the other coach to think who's going to call it first. So we're not sure who called the timeout, but the other team obviously have another a timeout they can call this half. As you can see, we've got the GoFundMe overlay at the bottom of the screen. Get on board if you like this streaming. If you think, yeah, I'm actually enjoying this and I've watched a game, could you please drop in $1, $2, $5, whatever you can, because we need to reach $10,000 by the end of this tournament. And all these, the 6 cameras, the 7 monitors, all the AV equipment, the cabling, the monitors you can see on the pool deck there, I think there's about 5 or 6 of those kicking about. They'll all be able to be used at the next World Championships in Canada and at the next Age Group Championships in Sheffield. So, yeah, any bucks are welcome.
Yeah, as the second half is, after the timeout is in the first half. It was a bit of an early timeout called in my books. 10 minutes to go. It's pretty close to that time, but obviously the coaches have seen something, regrouped, and it looks like Colombia has made a humongous charge at the goal tray, and we have gloving against the U.S. and very close to goals. Obviously, advantage was played for as far as it disadvantaged, and the Colombians are sending a player straight into the goal tray.
Oh, yeah, in amongst it.
And get amongst it, cause discontinuity in the back line of the American defensive team. And as the Colombians are ready to go, the referees are set, but they're underway.
What happened there?
Yeah, it was a bit of a hold there.
I don't think the Colombian realised that play had started, and he just balked at it. And the Americans went, right, well, if you're not going to take it, I am.
Yeah, but he has to obviously touch it, and we do have obstruction. So he must have touched it and forgot to do what he's going to do with it. That's all I can say. And I was just going to call out some of the stats, but they were just taken away from me.
Whisked away by the man in the chair.
Man in charge. He can do whatever he likes. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah.
Nick Martin and his team of volunteers here and the organizing committee have done a fantastic job, and a good shout out to them deserved on that. But I was going to say at least this is a middle of the table balance match. There were some games played earlier, so there'll be some movement in that thing. The Australians got up over the Great Britons, was it, Nat?
No, it was the South Africans.
It was the South Africans, yeah. I
and
should know, it's sitting right in front of me. And and in the other court, I was calling New Zealand versus Canada, and New Zealand got over the Canadians.
And that was the under-19s as well, David?
Yeah, it was under-19s. As there's Colombians all over the American goal tray. However, the Colombians have gloved the puck. It must be the buzzer isn't sounding all that well in the court, because there seems a bit of a hesitation between the players and hearing it. But
you could be
that could be just focus, Nat.
And also, there's 2 different sounders in the courts. They're both side by side, the courts, and these under-19 boys have been playing a lot in court 1. So, just getting tuned into the different buzzer, you can be in the zone, you can be focused, and you're listening for the wrong sound, and that can throw you a little bit. So, really nice, strong free. He just took it and swam, David. I don't think he flicked it from that one.
No, Zach, number 1 from the U.S. did that, and he left his decoys. They were all standing on their heads in the middle of the pool, and that. And obviously that was a decoy play, and he snuck around the back of him to swim it to the wide. But I don't think the Colombians were all that fooled by it, because they were well over in defense, and Obviously, the pressure was that, and we have an unfortunate Colombian making a lopey swim, number 11.
Juanjo
Cordona is shaking his head, mystified by what he's done. But unfortunately, young fellow, you got to put your butt down in the sin bin and spend a minute out there.
Yeah.
It is 1 minute, and the call looked like a bit of an obstruction. So he obviously deliberately obstructed him. Looking at the
suck it up, young
replay,
fella.
And the Americans are on the attack.
Okay, and we might just ask our little techie here. We've got Janet sitting beside us managing the 6 cameras. Janet, would you be able to scroll the screen down for us and see if we've got anyone on live chat when you're... Oh, yep, okay. We've got Sean, the camera specialist.
We got a breakaway happening by the Colombians. He's on away. He's those Najee fins. High revolutions. Nobody near him. He's going to flop it into the goal tray. And Colombia, a man down, scored a goal. This is a trend, Nat. I'll say it again. This is a high trend. You send someone to the sin bin, and they come back and score.
Yeah,
every game so far I've watched, it's happened.
Yeah,
every
and
game.
I'd say the same with my timeouts. Just about every game I've called with a timeout. The team that called the timeout tend to come back and back it up with a goal. But you're right. I've been in the sin bin a few times. I'm sure you have, David.
I've noticed that now.
You sit there, you focus, and when you get in, you want to fix what you stuffed up, to get you there. And you just tend to have like an extra 10% in your body.
Yeah, absolutely. And vice versa for not vice versa, for your players left in there that you've left to do their job and fill your gap, they lift. And we're seeing it constantly through this match. That team who's down to 5 or 4 or 3 in some teams' cases, they lift.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a scary statistic, David, and I don't know whether I should share it. In the men's...
Been sinned lots of times?
No. I wouldn't even let on for that one. No, I don't want to give my secrets away. But the top of the table in the under-23s, we've got the Turkish.
Yes.
And if you look at the correlation between the time they've spent in the bin and they're standing on the ladder, it's actually consistent as you work your way down the seeding. So the teams that have more players in the sin bin are actually faring, on average, really well. So I don't think that would be a strategy that any coach would want to employ. But, there must be some other factors in that. But just an interesting little observation that I made.
As we see the Colombians taking a free puck in their traditional format where they're all behind the puck, and it was well repelled by the U.S., but unfortunately something happened. Yes, Colombians did a bit of an obstruction or a barge or a shepherd or something, because our signals are very similar on those calls, so it's unhard to think. And right you are, Nat, but one thing I did notice in yesterday's match where Turkey played New Zealand, they had cleaned up their match. So obviously they had long discussions with a number of the referees, got clear what they were doing, and fixed it up yesterday against New Zealand, because I think there was only 2 kickouts for maybe a total of 2 or 3 minutes.
Oh,
well done to the Turkish boys.
That is really good.
I know they were extremely disappointed by the number of kicked outs, and good on the coaches for actually sorting it out and cleaned up their act. But,
because it's not pretty hockey when there's that kind of those fouls being pulled up. We just had a little sprint towards goals from 2 Colombians, 2 Americans defending. Number 4 for Colombia, I think. Yep. Santiago Magia. And I'll just whip through the Colombian team. Jose Arango, number 1, Juan Parr. Number 2, Pablo 3, Santiago 4, who just scored that goal. Briam 5. There we go. 1, 6, Miguel 7, Santiago 8, Daniel 9, Pablo 10, Juanjo 11, and Juanes 12. And Coach Andreas, he would have had to choose 2 of those players to sit out today, because it looks like they've got 12 in their squad.
Yeah, because they have about the last couple of minutes before they can actually scratch the players, depending on their warm-up and how well they're feeling. So we don't get that information until after the game, so we can't tell you who's sitting out unless you viewer watchers are out there. And there's a number of you out there. Catalina, I see you there. Go Colombia. You've got a few us. And then we got Maikea Nachisamas as well. Catalina, a couple of more. And I love your emojis, man. Love the emojis. More of those, dude. And as Colombia's are pressuring right on the corner goal. Oh, and it looked like it was just ripped out again. But I think Colombia has scored their 4th, Nat.
Yeah, 4 against 1. And if it was the United States that had called the timeout before, I think they might have used their timeout a little bit early. If they haven't called it, if I was the coach, I'd probably be calling it now. You just don't want the Colombians to gather momentum. David.
And as you can see on the screen, folks, all the major sponsors just flicked off. I missed the card, but a lot of major sponsors: Taz Government, Hobart Aquatic Center, a lot of the providers. We've got Wing & Co. providing all the lovely food to our referees, and I was over there yesterday, and I happened to snafu some of Marie's wonderful food. The Paco people, Najee, Fins, C6AA, Armar, and Armar is a busy boy. I saw him on the deck reffing. He's running medical runs and all those sorts of things. Big shout out to Armar. He's a busy boy, but he's just one of the loveliest people I've met from the Columbia. They're all very lovely, but I love the guy. He's very good, and hopefully he'll be joined by his partner from New South Wales this week, or maybe later on this week. She's due down, but also the Shark underwater hockey equipment people and our two, Vertex. I can't say enough about their clothing lines and stuff like that. I was up there looking at them wonderfully. As Columbia looks like it gloving? They were pressing the American backline immensely, and unfortunately they gloved this one. The Americans will get a good opportunity to gain some control of the puck, and I think you're right there, Nat. If I was a coach, I would love my time out back and re-rally the boys, because the Colombians are on a bit of a roll. But he gets the opportunity to chat to them, in the bench one at a time. But there's nothing like a bit of a rah-rah chat from a coach, Nat.
Yeah, exactly. When you're talking about the gear that's for Amar up there, I went and had a look at the gear that's up in the stands. And if you're in Hobart at the moment, if you're a player in our local competition and you want to get yourself a really nice glove or stick, they've got some really lovely stuff up there. I tried a few of the gloves, and I think I'll be buying a couple myself, actually, so I don't have to go online and order one. I can get one here at the pool, and I think they've got a few good specials on as well. So definitely, if you're a junior or even a senior in the Tassie comp, or anyone else in Hobart, get on down and buy some gear.
Is that a 2-for-1 sale, Nat?
Yeah, I think there was. If you buy a stick and a bat, you get a discount. So I'm not going to buy one of their sticks, I'm afraid, though, because we've got razor sticks, David.
Yeah, but that's the wood versus the plastic thing.
That's right.
And I know in the early days with the plastics, Nat, and I know a lot of players are playing with the plastic sticks, be they Amar's design or Shark or Can-Am design. The lasting wear on them is as we reach halftime, and Columbia take a lead of 4-1. But just back on the bats, I guess the word I'm looking for, the plastic bats and the advancements we've made in those fronts, and that should be congratulated to the makers of those. I'm still a traditionalist. I love the wooden bats, that come on board and make sure that they works. But I know some of the younger kids are coming through, and you can't afford to fine-tune your bats with the old rats at the side of the pool anymore, and the bats are working wonderfully. I know a lot of senior players are looking to use those for training and stuff, but go to the old favorites when the comp cost starts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for the durability of the plastic sticks, and if you start out in hockey and start with those, that's what you get used to. David, I can remember a time. I can remember sitting there with my wooden bats and be rasping them on the concrete deck of some pools just to rough them up a little bit.
So you're the one who caused all that paint damage at the old
Clarence Pool.
I wasn't going to say it because they're not a major sponsor. The Dorn Aquatic Center is a major sponsor.
They certainly are, and you are looking at the centre now, and it's a beautiful centre. We've managed to get all the barriers around the pool deck, so general public can still watch from up on the stands and around the edge, but no one is allowed on the pool deck except the players, the refs, and we don't encourage all the volunteers to be down there. You can go down there, but we want to keep it as clear as possible, and it looks really good, David.
It's sensational, Nat. I know it's still it's only about 11:15, and again we see all our major sponsors, including there's a lot more there. There's Can-Am, Wing & Co. I did get poked in the head by one of my the producers behind me, saying make sure Najee fins are mentioned, because as you see, most of the Colombians are wearing Najee fins, and they swear by them. Nat, they love them.
They really suit their style of hockey, and everyone that comments on the games, the one thing they will say about the Colombians are they are quick to the bottom, and you think you've got a space, and within the blink of an eyelid, you are surrounded by Colombians, and they're fast and they're furious. So they sell the fins really well. If you want manoeuvrability, if you want acceleration and and longevity in your legs too, because they're not as taxing as some of the big fins. Then the Nagi fins are for you.
Yeah, I've seen that, and we're coming into the halftime markers where all the coaches have been in there giving their instructions to to their teams and getting them focused for the start of the second half. In what I say, a dominated performance by the Colombians, but the U.S. have their moments. I'd say it was probably about 30-70 in terms of possession and where it was, but the Americans are coming out strong, and they have got to throw a hammer to the wind. This is the last day of the round robins before the finals. I'm not sure how the seedings will work, but it will change a little bit depending on the results here. But I understand that the seedings work basically in the final rounds. It's in this division it'll be 1 versus 8 and 2 versus 7 and work the way up. So if they're in the middle of the table, they may see each other in tomorrow or the day after that.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just looking in the court next door. We've got Argentina against France in the under-19 boys, and Argentina nil, France a 6. We haven't got our current seeds in front of us. But
near the bottom are Argentina and French were near the top.
Yeah, okay, so that scoreline pretty much reflects that. The United States boys have scored, and I think that's really important because if you've scored once, that just opens the window, opens the door for you to score again, because you can reflect upon that and say, well, how do we do that? How do we actually break through the Colombians? And excellent, David. And they should be able to score again. 4-1, in my book, is a close game, and it's anybody's game.
Yeah, as you see, I just stole the standings from the other box, and they're growling at me. So Great Britain leads us on top with France number 2, New Zealand 3, with Argentina is sitting number 6, and Colombia is number 4, and the United States is sitting in number 7. There's be some changes today because Australia won today, and New Zealand won, so they'll probably stay pretty even, but we'll see. I'm not sure what the Great Britain team, did they have a game this morning? Or are they?
No, we're not in this court. They've got one at 4:10. They must have had a game this morning, I reckon. Maybe. No, I'm looking there now.
No, they played the 7th game yesterday, so they have a game advantage over the other players.
So they've just got the one game this afternoon. So 9 teams in the division, the under-19 boys division. So David, the 9th team doesn't get a second chance in the finals. Is that what you're saying? It's just 1 versus 8?
Well, actually, I just thought there were 8, so I'll have to confer on that and confirm whether the 9th team doesn't get. But look. I might just jump out and say that because I'm sure that our friends are very interested in that because the bottom of if that happens, then that's. But I think this is junior age world. I think they like to give everyone an opportunity. However, if you're maybe it's 2 versus 8 and the first seed gets a day off or a game off.
Yeah, okay. That'd be great, David. And I know with the elites as well, the finals include not just the first 4 teams. They do dip down to the 5th and 6th team, and we have seen at the last Worlds, Elite Worlds, we saw a big upset with the 2nd seed being knocked off by the 6th seed, and anything's possible. Although ideally you do want to finish towards the top of the table. If there's going to be a rest, it's going to be for the top seeded teams. So the under-23 women's, the under-19 women's. They've only got the 2, 4, 6, 7 teams, so they were forced into a double round robin. So they've had 12 games compared to the 8 games of the under-19 boys because they only have the single round robin. We're really getting to that pointy end of the comp. Finals will be on tomorrow and for the next 3 days. So, stay tuned. And thanks for bringing on the chat for the live chat. It looks like we have quite a few from Colombia. So if you're in the US watching the stream, give us a shout out, give us a few comments and we'll pass those on. So 11 minutes to go, David, 4-1. And no one's broken through in this.
I just checked with the officials and I looked on the actual with one of the fellow commentators, Stuart Parkinson, and he pointed out quite quickly to me that the first game of the finals played by number 8 placed and number 9 placed, and the winner of that match then goes and plays the first place team. So they have 2 games. So the disadvantage when you finish 8th and 9th But you have to come out of that, play a game, and then probably a couple hours later you play the first place team.
Yeah, okay.
And then that's how it works from there. That basically they sort out who is actually in 8th place, and then 1, 8, and 2, 7, 3, 4 play out throughout the day. So
fitness really does play a big part. I mean, if your team's a bit inexperienced and you're thinking, you've got a lot of first-timers for the Worlds, if you're fit, that can give you a real edge. I mean, super fit. Everyone can work on their fitness. So you don't need experience to have fitness. That can actually help you through that finals campaign because, if you're finishing down the bottom, you've got those extra games to prove yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a timeout called, and I think that was being called out by the American coach. I saw him signaling and touching his head, and that's the signal. You touch your head and you point and want a timeout, or raise your hands way above. The chief referee will then indicate he's seen it, and he'll call a timeout. So he want to regroup. They come out really well, the Americans, in the second half, caught in the Colombians again a bit snappy asleep. 10 minutes left to play, so 5 minutes is pretty even match in this one. And again, as I was saying earlier, possibly in the other court when I was commentating, is that this is, there are standings, but the closeness of this game has no reflection on it. And these, even ding-dong matches, and, it's sort of that lovely fragrant smell of that you have of finals hockey roaming up in the background there.
I like that. It's like the smell of coffee.
Absolutely. And it's like coffee in the morning.
Or fresh cut grass.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Yeah, one or the other. As number 5, the vice captain for the U.S. team, Quantum Zaho. I hope that's how you pronounce your name. My apologies for that. But he made a lovely drive up and pressed into the Colombian zone. But the Colombians have, they're moving it across. But they've been the puck's been stilled by the Colombians because they had a lot more numbers on the play.
Yeah, look, I was on the pool deck a little bit earlier, David, and the feel amongst the coaches in the under-19 boys tournament is quite electric. Look at this great drive by United States here. Come on, boys. We like a close game in the box. But the feel for the coaches is there's a real ripple of excitement and energy because I think the under-19 competition is probably the closest in all the divisions. It's really tight.
Yeah, it is. There's some dominant teams, but I just called the game against Canadians, so we had the near top match, 3rd place currently, versus the bottom of the table. And, the first 10 minutes, it was even Steven, still 0-0. And then there was a timeout called, as you said, the favoritism of the timeouts. And New Zealand came out and popped in, 3 goals straight away.
Yeah, okay. Colombia are really intense here. They've got to be careful to keep the puck on their stick because there's a fair bit of shoulder and arm action happening here. Beautiful curl, nice drive from United States. What a shame the United States boys couldn't capitalise, but Colombia pulled it out off the wall, and that could have worked against them there. We really need to see the United States boys curl it round and attack the centre of the goal. Much harder to defend. The Colombians love this, bring it out up the wall, into the corner. So Americans, you need to not play into where Colombia wants you to play. Yeah. Open it up. Look for the centre of the pool and attack the centre of the goal. Colombia away up the wall.
Yeah, some excellent rotations happening there between number 1 and number 5, Raymond. And you're right there, Nat. They keep wanting to bring it to the middle too early. The Colombians and the Americans are all over them, and they're recycling well.
The Americans then take the choice to go back into the corner, David. I don't know what's going on. But here we go. Another push by the American, again up the left-hand side.
I'm not sure they actually choose to go in there because there is a wall of Colombia pushing them into that corner. And I'd like to touch back on a comment you made earlier, Nat, about we love close games. And if any of you tuned into the game last night against the New Zealand girls versus the Great Britain girls, where the Kiwis beat them 14-0, you would have heard some surprise commentary by the booth, by myself and Stuart Parkinson. And he did put out the challenge to the Kiwi girls that if he got to 14, he would do a special thing, and he did. And I don't want to spoil the surprise because you're looking at me. What happened? And I'm going to say, Nat, you got to go back and watch that game, particularly the last 4 minutes of the game, because there was something very special happened.
Really?
Yes, very special.
Oh, now look, whet my appetite. I am going to go.
And you can watch these. This is what's fantastic. I'm going
Hey.
to draw a link here.
Good segue.
You can watch these as the Americans drive in on a free puck, but was instantly chopped down by the Colombians. You could watch these live repeats free of charge on YouTube. Now, I'm saying that because this is the first time I've ever been to a Worlds, and I've been to a few like you, Nat, where constantly after every game I had to go and find a ruble here or a South African dollar here or whatever it was to pay to get my game so I can watch it. And when I got it, I couldn't see a damn thing.
No, exactly, David. I was just saying that the other day, yesterday, I think it was, that you actually had to book your games at the start of the competition. It was $20 on average Australian dollars a disc. You get them on a disc, and which is so old-fashioned. And you'd book your games ahead.
I used to get them on VHS, Nat.
Oh,
that's how far back I go.
Beta or VHS. And you have no idea what the pool quality was going to be like, and more often than not, in the middle of the competition, you'd go and pick up your disc. You'd have to trot over to the comms booth, and you'd get your disc, get back. You'd scurry into the lounge room, sit round the telly, turn it on, put it in, play it, and you couldn't see diddly.
Absolutely, but hasn't times changed? Look at the quality we have here. We have high definition. You can see all the ribbing of that the U.S. coach, and I'm sure that's Holland Ja who's sitting there. You can see the that fine
nice
definition of that, and you can see right across the pool. And guess what? It's free. But
yeah, it is free,
if you're
and
happy,
it's there
it's free,
forever.
and you're happy with this, everybody watching, and we've had over 50,000 viewers of watching the games, and there's some popular games in the others. If they all put in $1, we would have paid for all this stuff that can go to junior hockey.
Yeah,
so get on the
right.
website.
You're exactly right, actually. 50,000 viewers. It was interesting looking at the stats. We had 60% males a couple of days ago, 40% female watching. A lot more in the Southern Hemisphere, which would probably be credited to the fact that they're in maybe the time zone's a little bit easier. I'm hoping, Catalina, that you've got your signal back. We just had a chat there saying no signal. Yeah, but it was interesting, David. There was a few places around the world, some Montenegro and some really, isolated places where obviously one person had gone on and just watched for like 2 minutes. So they had one person from that country watching it and thinking, hello, what have I just tuned into? But
Probably doing a Google search and said, underwater hockey. What?
What's this? What is this?
As we all know, fantastic support played by all these age group players in Hobart at the Aquatic Center. And it was fantastic that the Aquatic Center has given up the pool. And you and I both know, Nat, that this pool is used every minute, every day. Got swim squads, we got water polo, we got canoe polo, we got water basketball, we got rugby, we got underwater hockey, all vying for this valuable pool space. And for 2 weeks out of the year is a hard ask, and it's fantastic that the state government and the Aquatic Center have come to the party to allow us to take this event, as the Colombians are pressuring the
beautiful
US
skills
straight
from
after
the US.
their timeout. And the Americans did call the timeout to regroup the sisters. We see number 1, Zach Outram, holding the puck, waiting for his troops to come in. And
Quantum.
Here comes Quantum Zo here.
I do like that
start,
name, Quantum, David.
It is, and I believe he's the vice captain. And that's recycled in the corner again, number 10, Ben.
And that
But
paid
the
off
referee,
for them.
it paid off because it made the Colombians under a bit of pressure. It's given a bit of relief and an opportunity to take control of the puck and drive it out.
Yeah, now they can only hold it in the corner so many times before it's deemed unsportsmanlike behaviour. After a couple of tries, they've got to actually make an effort to bring it out. Obviously, the Colombians were starting to get a bit frustrated, and an infringement was pinged, and the Americans now slowly working it up the line.
I think we'll have to get some words to the American coach, because he's actually out of his coaching box and showing his butt on the camera. And the idea was that the coaching box here, the camera's there, so we can bring you this great footage. But I'm sure Holland doesn't realize that.
I think that's a dad. That's a dad bod too. That's a dad bod.
Yeah, someone's just told him, thank you, the pool deck runners, because I did send someone to go tell him.
Yeah, well, Holland,
and that makes it easier for our switching crew, because we can bring you live, clear pictures of the Americans taking a free puck and driving it strongly through the Colombians. But unfortunately, the Colombians have taken. He cut it back in because there was a whole number of Americans out there, and he thought it was open. But unfortunately, he failed. And the Americans have gained control, and they're pressing hard at this scoreline. And I must say, Nat, for the last 15 minutes of this half, it has been in the Colombian half.
Yeah,
maybe moments up there, but it's
we haven't
it's
had a score this
turn.
half.
haven't had a score this half at all.
So, thumbs up, Americans. You're doing a great job, but you've got to score. You've got to. You realise that those pushes up this left side are not working. You've had at least half a dozen pushes in this corner. Yep. It's not working. Reset. You should have another strategy in your toolbox, and it's time to bring it out and use it.
Yeah, as you can see, I can see if they're trying to bring it out as the Colombians were put under pressure and caused the foul, and the Americans will get another free puck. The Colombians do have a lot of people sitting wide in defense, so that if they do move it out, they attack straight away. So as an American, I can understand why they keep recycling it to the corner because they're getting caught out. But
that's
still,
why we curl, David. That's why we curl.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly, Nat. Something I wanted to mention at halftime is that we did put a challenge out last night to all the teams to actually lift their game in terms of their water bottle holders. After the Great Britain girls last night against New Zealand had Ernie the elephant, and the South African girls have the shark, and we put a call out to all the teams to lift their game, stop looking in the back of the shopping malls and taking the milk crates and putting floaties on them. We said, let's show some imagination, and so far haven't seen anyone answer the challenge. So obviously it must have been too late for everyone to see that, but I'll put a shout out early. Yeah, the shops are open in Hobart Center now, and you can go over in Target or Kmart or the Reject Shop. Even you can buy one of those floaty things and put some pizzazz into the bench, because I tell you what, Ernie helped the Brit girls at every time out he was there present. Inspiration. They were all patting him and all that, and he sort of rose to the occasion where the Kiwis just had a boring
he said rose to the occasion, David, because I think it was yesterday he was looking a little bit deflated. He was a bit saggy up front, and they actually didn't do well in that game, so they've pumped him back up again, and that should work in their favour.
As the Colombians pressure, lovely
United States,
lovely sticks. And I think the second effort came in there. Hold on. Referees are confirming Nat, and yes, we have a goal.
Number five
for Colombia
is Briam Lopez.
Yeah, and we only have 1 minute left to go in the game, Nat, and the Americans are 4 goals down. It looks like they're gonna lose this one. Colombia is going to be on top, but I tell you what, after that first half where the Americans dominated for a fair bit of the time, and then Colombia turned it around, I think the Americans were on top of this match, and they just couldn't put it in the tray. They couldn't convert, simply because they just weren't working the puck wide enough and allowing the defense to spread so much and take advantage. Where the counter by the Colombians, they just boom, 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 and in the tray. No diddling around.
Yeah, look, it's been a really nice game to call, David. Looking forward to talking to the boys on the pool deck after the game. Beautiful chip flick. Oh, just lovely. And that's pretty much cemented the game at 6-1. And we had number 12, I think, Juan Hurtado.
That was a lovely flick, Nat, as the game draws to a close. And Nat, if you're going to wander off there and say good day to the boys, and make sure they notice your nice, flashy all sports Converse shoes. They're not the traditional cut, but I'd like to talk to you more about the cut of your shoes, the anti-laces. You're into that. But the game has come to a close at the Aquatic Center. The second game of the match in the Day 6 on Wednesday, the 19th of July. Colombia victorious over United States, 6-1. The next game on court is the under-19s women's in this court, which is the USA again versus South Africa, and I'm sure the dulcet tones of Heine will join us in the booth for his take on the game. And thank you for listening. And again, go to the website, GoFundMe /Hobart 2010 team. If you enjoyed watching and listening to commentator, none of the money will come to us. It's going to junior hockey. Big shout out again to all our major sponsors of the day. And we'll catch you, and we'll send it over to Nat.
Just got the thumbs up from Alice, I think it was. So, Justin, come on over nice and tight, Justin. I just called that game, and what a tight game in the second half. The score was 4-1, and you guys had the play for the first 10 minutes up on the Colombians' tray. How was that feeling at the time?
It felt really great, especially when we kept it a lot of the times in their side. We feel a little. We feel that we could have done better because if we brought it back to the side, then we would stop them from scoring.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the scoreline, I think the final scoreline was 6-1. However, watching the game, you guys had so much more of the possession in the second half. So it's definitely something to take away. Thank you. Have you got someone at home that you want to say g'day to or, any shout-outs?
Shout out to all the parents that helped bring us all the way here to Tasmania. And thank you for all the volunteers and coach that help us prepare for this Worlds.
Yeah. Fantastic, and nice to talk to you, Justin. I hope you have a bit of a recovery time now. Catch you later. Thank you. I'm just waiting to see if we have any Colombians that are going to come up to the mic. It doesn't look like we have, so Nat Wickham signing off for the game. Yeah, come on over. I'm back again. Nat Wickham's back. Alice, I'm back. Hello. Turn around there. I just go underneath. What was your name?
Charles.
Charles. Okay, number 7 for France. Charles. He was just playing in court 1. I'm not sure what I'm being told to do here. No.